Plastic wrap has been used for many decades for its convenience, versatility, and its ability to keep food fresh. But it has been getting spotlights for being one of the main contributors to the plastic pollution crisis. It gets thrown out after a single use, and it is difficult to be recycled. Even when it is recycled, it's more expensive than using virgin material, so it ends up in landfills or incinerators, leading to larger plastic pollution. When it breaks down into microplastics, fish mistake them for food, and the plastic remain in their stomachs, and toxins enter the food chain. Beeswax wraps are becoming popular as a sustainable alternative to plastic wraps, not to mention their pretty looks. They are completely made out of natural ingredients, which make them compostable, and they are reusable for up to 12 months if they are cleaned and maintained properly. The only downside is that they are quite expensive to purchase. But guess what, guys? They're so easy to make and they won't break the bank. Here's what you'll need. You'll need 100% cotton fabric, and it has to be 100% cotton because synthetic fabric will not absorb the melted beeswax. Also, 100% cotton makes it compostable. And you'll need beeswax pellets, which I bought from my local zero waste shop, but they are so easy to find on Amazon, and you can even buy a block of beeswax and grate onto the fabric. But keep in mind that it may take more time and effort if you were to use the block and grate it. You'll also need scissors, a ruler, and a pencil or anything you can mark with, parchment paper, and an iron. I only had a steamer iron, but I just didn't put water in it and it worked perfectly. First of all, I turned my iron on to cotton setting, and while we wait for it to warm up, I'm going to prepare my fabric. I'm going to draw a square. My tip is to get a bowl or a plate that you'll be using the beeswax wrap to cover with. Use the bowl as a guide and draw out a square. I'm just gonna make a marking. It can be an estimate. And to make this a square, here's my tip. We're going to fold this side over just like so, and then mark where the initial marking is so we have equal lengths. And then I'm just gonna take a ruler and draw straight lines. And we're going to cut the shape out. Now we have the square piece of fabric. Here comes the fun part. We're going to put cardboard box underneath. This is to prevent the surface from getting damaged from the heat and the melted beeswax. I put parchment paper underneath the fabric and on top. I realized that my fabric fits the parchment paper perfectly, but you can make the fabric a little smaller. I'm using these beeswax pellets and they look like this. We're just gonna sprinkle some over. You can start with a small amount and gradually build up. We're going to be checking for missing spots after each ironing. Take the iron and slowly melt the wax. You can hold in one place for a couple seconds and you can actually see them melting. If you find that your fabric is bigger than your parchment paper, you can actually move the paper around. Once you're done that part, you can lift the paper and check for dry spots. The parts that have wax absorbed are darker, whereas the missing spots are lighter. You can go over those dry spots with more wax. Also, make sure you use the same side of the parchment paper to cover. And if you get some wax on your iron, it's not the end of the world because it's easy to wipe it off while it's warm. So now we just have a few more parts that we missed. Alright, I'm done, and you can simply peel it off and wave it to dry. It usually takes about 30 seconds to completely dry. Here's how to use the beeswax wrap. Wrap it around a container or a piece of fruit or vegetable and use the warmth of your hands to hold the shape. The warmth makes the wax pliable. And if you want to make it extra airtight, you can reinforce it with a rubber band. To wash it, you can simply run it under cold water with some soap because if the water is too hot, the wax will start to melt. You can use it on any fruit, vegetable, sandwich, etc., but it is not advisable to use it on raw meat. I made these for the first time about 2 weeks ago and I've been using them ever since. After each use and each wash, the wrap does look more worn out, but it still works super well. It is so easy to make and easy to use, and it could be a nice gift idea for your friends and family.